"Here we are," Luke said. A wide smile lit up his features and crinkled the corner of his eyes. The first thing Kira noticed when Luke opened the door was the cacophony of voices in the air. When she looked outside, she understood why. Every citizen of Sonnyville must have been in that town square. The grassy park looked more like a sea of blonde hair as protectors of all ages spoke excitedly to one another. Every so often, Kira saw a streak of fire soar through the air, only to land in someone's open palm, to be absorbed back into his or her skin. Happy was what she first thought. All of these people looked happy and content with their lives. Luke stepped out of the car first, and the crowd started to quiet down. With slight hesitation, Kira emerged, greeted only by a deafening silence. She had never felt so self-conscious in her life. Between the yellow hair, the blue sky, and the green trees, her red curly hair stood out like never before. Her flame-tinted eyes were the same as everyone else's, but that similarity seemed far too small for Kira to notice at the moment. "Well, you sure know how to make an entrance," Luke whispered, taking her hand. "Follow me." Kira couldn't speak. She just let Luke lead her through the crowd, which parted like the Red Sea as she approached. When she met someone's eyes, they looked away. She saw little children cling to their parents, afraid to approach. "Are they scared of me?" Kira wondered. But she didn't have time to complete the thought because she bumped into Luke, who had stopped walking. He dropped her hand and moved aside, so Kira could see the council waiting for her. They sat overlooking the crowd on a raised wooden platform, each man resting on a large carved throne. She assumed this was the space where they held town meetings, but after the completely modern airplane, this archaic arena was the last thing Kira had expected. There were 7 people on the council. All of them were men, all of them wore suits, and all of them were intimidating. She approached the platform and slowly walked up the steps, all the while fearing her legs would give out before she reached the top. "Luke Bowery!" Kira jumped at the loud, booming voice and glanced at the older man who spoke. His hair was pure white, almost blinding to look at, and he sat in the center seat. "Won't you join us?" Kira looked back at Luke, who smiled as if he were the picture of serenity, and walked up to stand beside her. "Councilman," Luke greeted them with a bow. There is no way I'm curtsying in front of this crowd, Kira thought. She didn't want to let on how scared she was when all of these people had different expectations of her. "Hello, nice to meet you all," Kira said in the strongest voice she could muster, which seemed almost like a squeak to her, but clearly was not what they had expected. Luke looked over at her, with eyes brimming in annoyance. "Miss Dawson, we're aware you are not familiar with our customs, but when the council is in session, do not address us so informally. We are a society built on traditions, and though you don't know them yet, we expect you to respect them." Kira stared at the man who spoke, her eyes wide in shock. He stared right back, looking down on her, not at her, but on her, as if she was a bug that needed to be squashed.